Hello and thanks for staying with us on Africa Independent Television, and welcome to Democracy Today. I am Ijoma Osamor. It's 90 days, which is a little over 12 weeks or 3 months to February 16, 2019. A day slated for the 2019 general elections, starting with the presidential election and the commencement of the next round of general elections in Nigeria. And gradually, the nation is inching towards the date of the first poll, the presidential election on not January 19, that's February 16, 2019. Now, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, unveiled its timetable on January 9 and schedule of activities for the elections. It had stuck to the schedule without slanting it in favor of any partisan interest. The Electoral Act states in Section 99 that for the purpose of this act, the period of campaigns in public by every political party shall commence 90 days before polling day and end 24 hours prior to the day. And in line with the INEC's timetable, the political parties are free to begin their soapbox rhetorics for the presidential, governorship, as well as national and state assembly. But that of the governorship and state assembly campaigns will start in December 1. Tomorrow we'll be having the presidential and national assembly on November 18. Simply put, political parties will officially begin nationwide electioneering for all elective positions tomorrow, Sunday, with the commencement of electioneering. On Sunday, the PDP presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar is billed to launch his campaign on Monday with the launch of his policy document. He is also billed to unveil members of his campaign council, and the ruling APC may likely unfold its campaign program next week. The other political parties are equally dotting the I's and crossing the T's for the commencement of campaigns. There is high expectations across the country that the campaign time this time around will be issue-driven, but indications to this effect are yet to emerge. What had happened so far are a deluge of pre-campaign season activities characterized by blackmail, character assassination, and hate speech. How can the campaigns be devoid of these negative tendencies? How can the planning and the fanning of the flames of hatred be halted? How can hate speeches be warded off? We shall examine these and more issues as the campaign officially starts tomorrow. Now, the battle in Imo State between the governor of Imo State, Rochas Okorocha, on one side, and his a governorship aspirant on one side, and that war of words over the dispute of primaries of the APC in Imo State, that one has also become an issue. And in the southeast, Nigeria is yet to win. The latest is from the camp of Governor Rochas Okorocha, whose preferred governorship candidate, Uche Wonsu, accused INEC of relying on a non-existent court order to uphold Senator Hope Uzodinma as the authentic standard-bearer for the governorship election. How true is this allegation? We shall also beam searchlights on it in this edition of the program. We shall also take a look at the scheming by the various gladiators across the country. We have 3 gentlemen, but I have 2 here. The third one we are waiting for when it comes. Dr. Austin Malio is still the person that we will be waiting for, the media scholar and editor pilot newspaper. Will be getting him to. And also Godwin Ugboji, who is a lawyer and public affairs analyst, is right here with us in the studio. We also have the director media and publicity, also voter education of INEC, right here with us in the studio, Oluwole Usaze Uzi. He's also a lawyer. So I have two lawyers here in the studio, and we'll be waiting for the third person to come. But before then, let's just quickly take some stories from across the state. Stay with us.
With few hours to the start of political campaigns for the 2019 elections, the People's Democratic Party (PDP) has urged the media to remain neutral in its coverage and shun what it described as attempts from desperate politicians to use illicit phones and propaganda to manipulate the electoral process.
Therefore, in the next few days, the organization is going to be inundated with all manner of questionable copies, such as adverts and stories that will contain false performance indices, outright lies and falsehood, deceptions and contrivances, scam mongering, blackmail, and what have you. They will also present to you copies of new items, adverts that contain hate speeches, divisive contents, character assassinations, and fake news.
And from Benue State, the police have assured of their readiness to provide adequate security before, during, and after the general elections. In a statement signed by the Police Public Relations Officer of the state, Moses Yemu, the police cautioned against all forms of thuggery, destruction of campaign billboards, banners, posters, including vote buying and selling during elections. And from Kwara State, North Central Nigeria, the by-elections in Oke-Ero, Isi-Irebodu Ekiti Federal Constituency has been described as peaceful with an impressive turnout of voters. The by-elections, which took place in 330 units with nearly 126,000 voters, is reported to have witnessed a little hitch with card readers. The Minister of Information, Lai Mohammed, and the candidate of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Tunji Olawuyi, commended the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, for a smooth process. However, one of the leaders of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, in a community complained bitterly about alleged harassment by security agents.
I think the turnout has been impressive. The voting has been peaceful. You can see that there is no violence in this polling unit. Everybody has gone about his business, and there has been no attempt to coerce anybody. So if all polling units would be like this, then it means then that the will of the people will be reflected in the outcome of the elections.
It was a successful election. So far so good. There was any case of harassment, intimidation from any of my agents. INEC is doing a very good job now, as in improvement over and over. But at every election they get improved.
They came to me and asked that they had that some people are doing vote buying and that some people are thumb printing somewhere. Well, I told them to search everywhere.
Yes, that's just one out of the 4 elections INEC held today, Saturday, by elections, one in Bauchi, Cross River, and I think there were Katsina too. So those are the elections INEC had today, and at the end of today we'll be having result, or first thing tomorrow morning, result of those who won the elections. But I'm surprised. Sorry, I want to start with you. Let's start from this election. We have just 90 days to election.
That's correct.
These people, this by-election now, the members that were met from this election, they have how many days to go?
It depends on when the House stands dissolved. But I think somewhere between the 1st and the 7th of June or thereabouts. So they have from now till June 1st next year, first week of June next year.
Okay.
Okay, so that gives them how many months?
7, 8.
8, 9 months.
Yes, I like the statement and the commendation for INEC for the election. It's been peaceful. I hope we're going to have such peaceful election in 2019 general election.
I thought you should ask that to Gemma. We have made preparations, and security and peace are not really within the purview of INEC. You know that. So be it peaceful, be it violent, we will do all that what we have in our own powers to ensure we have an orderly process. The process itself will be good, and we're working with the security agencies to ensure that it is a peaceful exercise. If Nigerians want a peaceful exercise, I'm sure it will turn out to be peaceful, especially if the few people who usually cause confusion are checkmated, which I expect the security agencies will do.
All right, campaigns will start tomorrow, Sunday 18th. That's when INEC will flag off the campaign for presidential and national assembly election. And Nigerians are expecting issue-based campaigns. This time around, they do not want anything that will plunge the country into crisis prior to the general election. Now, let's start from what we are seeing. Today, okay, the campaigns will start tomorrow. But we've observed politicians attacking one another. We've observed wrong attacks. We've observed kidnappings of political party members, even killings. As at this morning, I also got a report from Rivers State that a particular group went to a village in Rivers State to campaign, and 2 persons were gunned down. Are this what we will see when campaign starts?
Yes and no. Yes, I know this is what has been the norm. This is what people want to follow because that has been giving them result. No, as one of the committee members of INEC has just said, they have done a lot of work. There's a lot of education on the ground. There's a lot of enlightenment on the ground that might not really tilt to it this way. Before now, the issue of ballot snatching and sheer use of violence had worked for a lot of politicians. But we are now seeing by the day, with the technology involved in voters, particularly this voters card stuff, it has reduced that angle now. That's why they are delving towards the issue of vote buying. So the issue of violence will naturally be there. It will want to raise ugly head, but the determination of the people and the determination of INEC to stick by the rules might deter a lot of people from going down road, because at the end of the day, what will it achieve for you? Because if it doesn't achieve for you any result for you, particularly putting your candidate on the box or in the position that you desire, it will not really work. So the desire will be there, but the work of INEC, and particularly, as you rightly pointed out, the work of the security agencies to ensure that they are not partisan, to ensure that they are effective, to ensure they are well mobilized, that should be able to curb them. At any point in time in every society, not just peculiar to Nigeria alone, you have people that want to ensure that things don't go the normal way. But it is the ability of the security apparatus and the deterrent factor put in place that will checkmate them. So if we have that, and particularly the security agencies not being partisan and standing their ground to ensure that elections are free and fair, I don't think any person that desires to have value, which will naturally have them on the ground, will be checkmated by the security agencies. Okay.
INEC's 79 political parties, presidential candidates. As at yesterday, one of them stepped down. The Zenith Labour Party presidential candidate stepped down. Is going for Senate now, talking about the former governor of Ondo State. Now we have 79. Campaigns will start tomorrow. Did the commission do anything to educate these people on how to maintain peaceful and orderly campaigns, how not to try to push people so that we don't have a crisis?
Well, first of all, you know that just about all of these presidential candidates are men and women of high regards. They have accomplished, most of them have accomplished quite a lot in their lifetime. And I don't know whether it's within our own province to educate them. They are quite aware of the consequences of their actions, of their words and their actions, and the negativity that will come with saying things that are wrong. But yes, to answer your question pointedly, we have had engagements with all the political parties, working directly with all of them, and also working through IPAC to ensure that all the parties, they've all subscribed to a code of conduct. And that code of conduct is a voluntary code, which encompasses a lot of the things that are already in the Electoral Act. And before you get to this stage, you must be familiar with provisions of the Act. And the provisions dealing with campaigns are quite comprehensive. And also the code is quite good when it comes to ways of campaigning, means of campaigning, and we also have campaign regulations. They are quite familiar with this. We've had trainings and engagements with all the political parties in this regard. So yes, they are well aware of the consequences of disobeying the act and how negative that can have for our polity.
Now, Barrister Obuji, we are looking at tomorrow's campaign, and we've heard politicians make some statements that are not good, some statements that are not even that are not palatable for the peace of this country. And if we continue like this, there'll be problem during the campaigns. There's bitterness in the heart of so many persons. Even few weeks ago, one of the governors made a statement that almost tear this country apart.
We should not be hiding names. Now, it's Erifai you're talking about clearly. It's not supposed to be so. As Riley said, this is where, and I'm happy you brought it up, issue based. You call somebody a bigot, this is what he is all about. Is that the person you are defining? Unfortunately for us, I'm so happy with the maturity of the Peter Obi in his response to him. People, as I earlier said, people naturally want a tendency that there should be violence. It is natural. But it is now the other person and the security agencies, and as he pointed out, the code of conduct that INEC, we hope they implement and enforce. If that is done, we will get it right. At this point in time, in our level of sophistication, our level of advancement, our level of development, we should go beyond who Obuji is. And you should tell the world what I can deliver or not deliver. If it's on that pedestrian, then we'll move on. But we have known the penchants of certain persons, so that certain things they say to the enlightened, which unfortunately are not in the majority, it's nothing but blackadash that we just want to whip unnecessary sentiment. Because people in Nigeria, certain persons in Nigeria, that their strength is only on religious or tribal politics. They cannot go beyond that pedestrian. They can't sell issues, they can't sell programs, they can't sell achievement. The only thing they fall back to is tribal politics, and that is why in a state that is as volatile as Kaduna, it's not a matter of whether you are majority or minority. It's to balance the equation and get things. And a governor will arrogantly tell you that I'm choosing a Muslim ticket and I'm choosing it because I know the other persons will not vote for me. Is that supposed to be so in politics? But be that as it may, that is his demeanor, that is his characteristic, and a lot of us know that. So that is not supposed to be the case. But I want to be assured, and I'm really gladdened that the INEC official has told us that their code of conduct and the people are aware of the consequences. Elections are coming in full flag now, and I'm sure and I hope and I wish and I appeal to INEC to, from time to time, call gladiators to order. Bring this code of conduct to their knowledge, or if need be, where they be stick. And I'm sure people like Erifai...
And even do advertorial.
Exactly. I think I must commend them. INEC have done a lot of advertorials, and they have a lot of workshops, and I have a lot of persons talking about it. I'm aware of that. For whatever it is, I must give them commendation where the commendation is appropriate and where it's needed. They have done that. But it's on the individual, at the level of like of Erifai, should we be doing that at this level? But people want to do that, but now it's for INEC. It goes beyond the advertorial now to where the big stick, where the time comes. Because I'm aware of the IPAC code of conduct he talked about. It is there. This type of speeches and rituals are not supposed to be allowed. What are the consequences? Let us say INEC apply the big stick.
Okay, now let's talk about some political soulmates that were friends before now. They were very close, and like what happened in Akwa Ibom and other states.
Even in Kaduna
today they are tongue-lashing each other, calling names.
It's a very unfortunate situation what we see in Akwa Ibom State. And this talks about our politicians. The likes of Akpabio, that was the governor before, and take everything they have in PDP. It is right to change. That's good and fine. Change based on your achievement and change based on people you can bring on board. Don't change based on, in quote, persecution or what you think you can gain in any party you are going to. But unfortunately, that is what we are seeing. And that is my fear. And that is where I really call on INEC and the security agencies to be very, very fair. Why am I saying so? And Akwa Ibom have now decided that he has joined APC. And he has now promised that he will do the undoable or do whatever it is to deliver Akwa Ibom to APC. But we have seen in states like Kwara, in states like Benue, where governors defected or political gladiators defected, like Saki defected, almost everybody switched to PDP. Almost all the state house of assembly members in Benue State changed to PDP when Otom changed also. Sokoto, thank you so much. Almost everybody. But in Akwa Ibom State, How people followed Akwa Ibom to APC to show the pedigree and his level of irrelevance in Akwa Ibom politics as it is
No.
Sorry.
It cannot be
I
irrelevant.
apologize. To show the level of the support he still garners. Because the point now is that you let us, you gave me instances, I gave instances of people that let, and you see that political what? I'm not talking about their achievements or whether they have done well for the state. But we have seen in a state like Akwa Ibom that when an Akpabio left PDP for APC, very minimal persons followed him to wherever he went to. But now the question is, because he have made promises, what will he do to achieve the promises? And that is where the security apparatus come on board. That he might want to use the security apparatus to ensure that he gets what he wants to get or what he has promised. And we saw that play out in a lot of states. Osun State, Ekiti State, Ondo State, where security apparatus were deployed to a state where people could not even do what they're supposed to do. So if, because of what is happening, I hope the security apparatus should take note of states like Akwa Ibom and allow the free level play, because the government...
But you know you're indicting INEC.
No, I'm not indicting INEC.
I would like to ask him a question.
Sorry, he has said something very fundamental before now. In Edo State, INEC were ready to conduct election. Even Shoebi or their commissioner then came out and said, we have no issue. The security has said elections cannot be held because of security reasons. What do I want INEC to do at that point? That he has said it. INEC's responsibility is to conduct election and within the laws. The security of the election is not in the INEC's hands. That I must concede to that. But other persons are involved and in charge of security, particularly the security apparatus, the police, particularly the front line, the SSS and DSS. Okay. But in that way, we have to be careful. Now, an Akpabio might want to deliver at all costs. And the consequence is if he wants to deliver at all costs. In view of the fact that nobody followed him, or very few persons followed him to APC.
You don't say nobody followed him. I've seen most of his campaigns, and I saw crowd.
No,
the day they defected, a lot of them followed him.
Those are people that, you know, let's give, a political commentator, political reporter. Renting of crowd is a very simple thing to do in Nigeria. The same person you see here can see in 10 other rallies. But the point is, political appointees, elected officials, how many followed Akpabio? And that will show you the extent of the work the governor has done to people to believe in him.
Okay, Barrister Uzi.
Yes.
Yes, I want to take the next question from the statement he made about security taking over elections and all that, if the politicians will allow. Is INEC giving their powers to the security? Because I've heard some security chiefs say, INEC brought us here. And I've also heard people say, INEC, even on the Electoral Act, from the Electoral Act, they said if the INEC official says this person should leave this place, the security officer will obey it.
Yes, but see, Joma, you have to understand something, that the primary responsibility of securing Nigerian environments is with the police and other security agencies, whether there's an election or there's no election, primarily. So you don't say INEC brought us here is not quite a correct statement. Elections brought us here. Who is the body responsible for the conduct of elections? Conduct, the process, INEC generally is. But it's also the laws of the land, constitution and the laws also recognize the roles to be played by other stakeholders. The constitution has given the press a role. You play that role, whether it's election time or it's any other normal civilian enterprise. You play that role. If it's a music concert, the security agents will play that role. You know, but this is a statutory thing. So the security agents have to do what they are statutorily charged with. But it's important, there must be synergy, and it's important that they do not interfere in the process. They must continue to play the role, and they're supposed to be non-partisan. They're state agents, they're non-partisan state, there's non-partisan state actors, and they're supposed to be non-partisan throughout the process. And we continue to engage with them, and we believe that they will live up to their constitutional and statutory responsibility of securing the process. Yes, the 2015 amendment actually gave some level of control for security deployment to the INEC chairman.
Yes,
actually does.
yes.
And the Electoral Act also talks about the role of a security agent where there's a disturbance and it's pointed out to him by the presiding officer. But having said that, if you see an offense being committed, you even have a right to do citizen's arrest. You don't have to wait for any officials to show you that this thing is wrong. You don't have to necessarily wait for that. So we all, as citizens, have responsibilities in that regard. You have powers, and responsibilities. So INEC will do its own bit, and everybody have to do theirs in a non-partisan, professional way. And I think that's what the discussion should really be. How professional are these people in doing that? You mentioned Oshun, but I think especially for the first election, I think all observers commended the professionalism of the security agencies. For the second, the second supplementary election, there were reports, but the case is in court. But I don't know whether the substract of the main thing in that case was the role of security agents. I don't know, because that is actually the point in the petition. But be that as it may, it's in court. Tribunals will consider it under forensic examination, give its judgment.
Now, I want to play a track up from some All Progressives Congress members. From Delta State. Ortega Emeo is already saying that he's ready to take INEC chairman to jail. Because he said INEC chairman, he gave them a court order stopping INEC from taking candidates from the other faction. But INEC didn't obey his own court order, but rather INEC chairman uses discretion. That's what he said, not me, to decide who to pick. Now, let me first of all go to Rochas. When I come back, you answer it too. Let's see what Rochas Okorosha is saying. Rochas is already saying INEC is not being fair.
Information reaching me shows that that actually a fake court order was used in removing the name of the candidate of APC in Imo State, which is Uche. And that report seemed to be very authentic, and that is what INEC may have relied on to have done what they did, because as at that day in the morning, from morning till about 4 o'clock, the name of Uche was still there to be published.
You came out en masse as members of the APC. You voted for me. You gave me the mandate. You gave me your mandate. You voted me to represent the APC. I still have that mandate. Nobody can take it away from us. In life, whatever cause you believe in, follow it. I have seen love. It's not that you don't have things to do at home, but you came out just to receive me. May God receive you and your family in Jesus' name. I am not bothered of the political intrigues going on now. But let me assure you that I, Uba Uchewosu, your mandate is still with me.
All right, Mr. Uzi. What Rochas is saying is that he knows that INEC did not, when they got whatever they got, the court order they got to give the mandate to Hope Uzodimma, and they don't know where it came from.
Let's be clear on this. INEC does not give mandates. The people give mandates, and the people, there's a process for mandates given. Let me use that phrase. And it's such that the Electoral Act says, look, parties, you must, the Constitution says you don't have independent candidates, you must be sponsored by, be a member of a party and be sponsored by that party. And there are processes for, the Electoral Act deals with how you show your sponsorship, how you show nominations. You send a list to INEC of your candidates and then you give it. And this is done by the national chairman and national secretary jointly signing the list and giving us the list and sending the particulars of that candidate, affidavit showing his personal particulars. And in this case, that was done. INEC does not give a mandate. The party wrote and said, this is the person they want. We under Section 31 of the Electoral Act, INEC does not have a choice, does not have a say. It is who the party said is their candidate. Up to that point. Once it's on a list, nobody can change that except with a court order. So, based on the fact that the party, the APC, sent the name of somebody to the INEC, that name of that person was displayed, his personal particulars were displayed. We did not get any other list from any other person. So we did not act on any court order. We acted based on what we saw provided for by the APC.
So what if, because the last time you came here, you said the only thing that can make you change the name of a candidate if you have a genuine court order, that can work. Then you write by the side, court order.
Yes.
I have seen it.
Yes.
In the last election, I've seen candidate names on the list, and by the side they put court order.
By court order, yes.
By
in
court
other words,
order.
it is not the person that necessarily was submitted by the national party. The court has ordered us to list a particular person. And then we do that and say, look, take note, every other person on this list was done by the political party sponsoring that candidate. But there are some exceptions where a court, having looked at things either in an interlocutory or interim state, say, look, INEC, don't accept any other person, accept candidate A or candidate B, in which case we obey the court order. The court order is superior at this stage to what the party has done.
So why did INEC not obey the court order from Ortega Emeho?
Was there a court order?
He said
you didn't bring to me about that. I have to get a briefing on that. I'm not aware that there's a court order saying that Ortega was a candidate of the party. I'm not aware of that. Anyway,
I'll come back to INEC. Let's go to Dr. Austin Mahu, a media scholar and editor, Pilot newspaper. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you.
We've been looking at campaigns will start tomorrow.
Yes.
And there are fears, palpable fears, that this campaign may not be too free. What are the things you think, moving forward to 2019 election, may hinder free, credible process starting from the campaigns?
At times, I think Nigerians are expressing too much fear about what 2019, beholds. It's the same scenario that played out pre-2015. A lot of us were afraid. There were predictions that there will be an implosion, but it never happened. All those doomsday scenarios never played out. We had an election, and everything went peacefully. A candidate was declared as the winner, and all of us accepted it, and the country moved forward. I think with this time around, I think there's too much emphasis. People play up this same doomsday scenario that things are going to get to a head and there will be crisis and all that. But I don't think even if you look at the situation we had pre-2015 and the situation we have now, they are different. This time around, the two principal candidates for the elections, I don't think, if you look at their profile and the fact that you have a Muslim ticket, both of them are from the north, unlike 2015 when you have a Christian, a southerner, a northerner, a Muslim. That scenario is not there. So I think the battle is going to be straightforward, and INEC, all the stakeholders, the INEC, the civil society organization, the media, they ought to just play their role. All we need to do is to make sure that we have, as campaigns kicked off tomorrow, that it is issue-based. That's where the media comes in. The media should set the agenda and examine these candidates, avoid overheating the system by the way we report, the campaign, avoid hate speech, and make sure that the candidate, irrespective of the agenda or what they want to achieve, we should try to focus on issues, how it affects the ordinary man on the street. We should educate. Use our platform as a media, AIT, the broadcast media, the print media. You should use our platform to educate the electorate on issues that should be of concern to them. There's always this concern about the role of the social media, not just
that's where I was even going to.
The social media. And each time the issue of the social media comes up, that social media is a double-edged sword. at one part, it has democratized the information space. Everybody has become an information giver because you have the technology to be able to send atoms, what we call atoms of information. Directly
to the people,
to a recipient, whoever you are targeting. You know, the technology is so amazing that if I want to reach people in Abuja, I can't do that. If I want to reach people in Wuse, at Gariki, I